Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the channel, and today I am reviewing my Z Flip 3 along with my Watch 4 Active exactly 30 days later. Now in this video I'm not going to be talking about the specs and technicals. Everybody already knows that stuff. What I'm going to be focusing on is my experience, what disappointed me, what made it awesome, and whether I'm going to keep the phone or go back to my old Note. Now, I have been using this phone as my daily driver for the past 30 days, but understand that by no means am I a power user. For the past 4 years, because of my position at a company, I was a really heavy power user, and I needed a phone that was consistent, reliable, that could power through the day, PDF signatures, image to PDF and sending large files to anybody. I needed a power machine, and that's why for the past 4 years I've been a heavy Galaxy Note user. However, I resigned this past May, and because of that I came into the market and I wanted something smaller. That was the biggest thing. Carrying a Note around when you don't need a Note is terrifying. So I came across the Z Flip series from Samsung. Now I'm not new to the Flip line. I remember the first Flip that came out and the second one. I never purchased them because of all the bad press that they were getting right off the bat with the screen issues and things like that. It was different this time. This time, the press was awesome. People right off the bat loved the phone. Reviewers liked it, and I watched all kinds of reviews from tech people as well as non-tech people, and everybody loved the phone. And so I was like, hey, why not give it a chance? So right after I opened up the box, what you first notice is that it's extremely slippery. I'll talk about the watch later, don't worry. But this phone is probably one of the most slipperiest phones I've used. It's super thin. Now I have a RINGKE case on it. I'll get into that. Especially with the smaller form factor, you can't really get a lot on it when it's in your pockets. I definitely needed to get a case, and this was the first problem. I was looking at the Spigen lineup and all of those. I didn't want it bulky like the Tough Armor because that's the whole point. I'm switching away from a Note. I wanted something more portable. So I wanted a slim case. Now I saw a lot of cases with adhesives and things like that, which kind of turned me off. I found this RINGKE case on Amazon. It was like $20 or $25. I'll link it below for sure. But I really like this case. It keeps a very slim profile. The feel is very velvety. It's nice and velvety feel, definitely enhances the grip, and there's no adhesives. It actually fits snugly onto the case. Now it's all plastic, so it's definitely not going to protect it from a really high drop, but this just kind of gives me that feeling that I can put it like this, or I can really shove it into a cup holder or something like that in my car and just forget about my phone. And that's the thing, right? That's why I bought this phone, is because it's super portable. I want to be able to put it anywhere, whether it's my back pocket, whether it's this pocket, it just vanishes, or anywhere else. I can just get it out of mind and out of sight. And so having this case on has definitely helped get that edge. Now, the biggest difference over this past 30 days, or the biggest advantage of having this phone over the past 30 days, and this is going to be very controversial, is that I'm on my phone a lot less. Hear me out. Whenever before I was studying, or I'm working, or I'm doing something online, I would get a notification on my phone. And I would pick up the phone. It was like this before. So, I would pick up the phone, check out the notification, and then for the next 20 and 30 minutes, I would be on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and that time is gone. So I was generally being less productive during my productivity time with a regular phone. And that almost became normal to me. So I never really noticed it until I got this. And with this, whenever it's still on my desk, I see a notification. I pick it up, I do the double tap, I scroll over, I see my notifications, and then I put my phone right back down. First of all, I get picking up the phone out of my system, but there's a barrier to flip kind of a thing. I use two hands to flip, right? I'm not Flossie Carter. I can't flick it open like that. I always use two hands to flip, and then I can always easily use one hand to close. But that barrier to flip requires something urgent. I see my notifications, and I know I could go on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. It has the capabilities, but I just don't want to flip it open. You know, I just put it right back down and I get back to working. And that's actually how it's been. That's also a negative thing. A lot of people that have seen online returning this phone return it because they don't want to keep on flipping it open to get anything done. They don't like the flip factor, basically. It kind of wears off on them. And I understand that, you know, it's a phone for a very specific kind of person. When I'm being productive, I want to continue being productive. And so the barrier to flip for me is a solution to a problem. While for everybody else, it might be a problem alone. Just the fact that they have to flip it open. So in that way, for me at least, this phone gives me my time back. And time is money. So I definitely think, and you know, stop the philosophy, but I really like this about this phone. The fact that I do have to flip. And so getting onto the notification screen, I use this screen a lot, like more than I thought I would. I'm gonna get to my watch in a second and how this kind of supplements this phone, hint, perfectly. But you know, again, I'm able to see all the urgent stuff on the notification screen. I can do a lot more, take pictures, you know, and add all kinds of widgets. I haven't even really gotten into all of that because most of the time I'm just working with my property managers, texting on WhatsApp, Instagram, checking Twitter, reading. I'm not doing a whole bunch of signatures and documents and sending documents or large files across. I'm not doing any of that anymore. Kind of going back on the Flossie Carter thing, I have been babying this phone, so you know, I've been really nice about opening it up, and I do close it with the satisfying click. I still find it extremely satisfying. As far as how the device has held up, there's no scratches outside because obviously this cover has kept it pretty secure. The cover doesn't slide as well. Again, I'm not doing crazy flips. If you do those, maybe it'll slide off, but with me, I'm like very, you know, safe with it. The hinge is still perfectly fine even after 1 month. I don't expect that to go bad anytime soon. And as far as the crease is concerned, there's been no discoloration and it's still really clear and it hasn't grown. So it hasn't gone deep or grown. It's really the same phone I picked up when I first purchased this 30 days later. There's no scratches on the inside screen either. It's really clean. Obviously because it remains folded most of the time, and the outer screen is actually Gorilla Glass, so this obviously has no scratches. The one thing I will say about the inner screen though is when I like go to my older phone and kind of just sometimes switch back and forth, I do find this to be a little bit softer, but nothing that, you know, I notice it now, but it's not something that's gonna annoy me. The screen is still beautiful to look at every time. Now, a few compromises I have made aside from just babying this phone. Right when I first got this phone, I knew battery was like the big thing. Everybody was complaining about the battery. So I went into the phone and did a few things, 3 things. First, I made sure that the maximum I can charge this phone is up to 85% just to increase longevity. So I'll just show you guys. If you go into settings, I went to display and I did dark display. The reason for that is because less pixels are being used. It's gonna save you know, the battery a little bit longer, and I do like it dark. And the other thing I've done is go to motion smoothness and I go to standard. So it does have 120 Hertz, but I went back down to 60 Hertz. To my eyes, I can tell the difference, but I don't care about the difference. It doesn't save me any time or anything like that. So I'm fine using the 60 Hertz and getting a little bit longer battery life. With these 3 changes, I do get a whole day out of it consistently. I'm not always charging this phone. I usually just charge it once at night. I don't even charge it fully. I charge it only up to 85%, and I'm able to get through the whole day with just that charge. Now, bear in mind, I am using this in conjunction with the Galaxy Watch 4. Now, I do have a glass screen protector on this watch. I found that I need it because I do scratch my watches up a lot. But what I really bought this watch for was kind of because I knew battery was a problem and I don't want to keep on opening up and closing this phone. This watch is the first smartwatch that I purchased, and one of the reasons is because it's using the new Google OS, and it really just stays on my wrist the whole time, and it tells me, of course, when I have notifications, which I can see here. I can clear them, and because of this watch and me getting notifications, and with new apps, one of the apps that I use is Wear OS, or Messages OS. It allows me to reply to some messages that I get. And with that, I don't need to even open up my phone, because like I mentioned, most of the stuff that I'm doing is just communication via text. And so because of that, this watch with the 2-day battery life takes care of a lot of me having to open this phone. If I get something really urgent, or maybe even not so urgent, I see it on my watch. And the other cool thing is when I do see a notification on my watch, I open up this notification and I click open up on phone. And as soon as I flip my phone open, it's gonna go directly to that app that I was using, or where I've got that update. I can reply and then flip close. Again, I'm not wasting time on other things. I get right to the task at hand when it's urgent, and I solve it. And when it's not urgent, I don't even need to go to my phone. I think that is the problem that this phone is a solution for. The problem that a lot of people go on their phone a ton, and a lot of time is wasted doing absolutely nothing. Now you're not getting anywhere. And I think if you see that as a problem, now some people don't really mind. Some people it isn't a problem. For me, it wasn't a problem until I started using this phone. With the Note series and my previous phones, I would go on them, spend 20-30 minutes and just be indifferent to all of that. With this phone, that problem becomes apparent. And it also becomes apparent that this phone, or something like this with this combo, is the solution to that problem. So that's how I kind of get around the battery life. It hasn't been an issue for me, to be really honest. At this point, like, I do see myself seeing the battery at like 35% when it's like 8 p.m. and I'm not rushing to charge it. I know it can go till the end, and I'll just charge it overnight. So I don't have that I need to keep it at 100%. I'm okay with the battery going down, so that doesn't really concern me too much. The other thing, of course, is with the camera. Now obviously the camera isn't flagship level. It works perfectly fine for me. I'm not a crazy camera guy. I'm not doing videography with this. I'm not doing, Instagram photos really. Follow my Instagram, by the way, Chilled Fossil, @ChilledFossil, easy. But so I'm not doing crazy like photography and videography, but for what it's worth, it works really well. Guys, if we're going to talk about compromises, let's also talk about how thin this phone is. This is with a case on the phone. It's beautifully thin. And so to fit two screens, a folding screen, and then a screen outside with two cameras in this, I don't think there's compromises being made here. This is personally my opinion, is that if you want a phone that's this thin, that's this portable, that can fold inside, that has a screen on the outside, that's actually usable and productive, that has a two camera setup, which is perfectly fine, and it shoots really nicely as well, in this kind of a form factor, the battery being small and the cameras not being top notch, I don't find that to be a compromise. If this is what you're looking for, this is the best you can get right now. And so I really like this. Now, I have been hearing a few people have issues with the mic overusing it, and it's obvious because there's cables in the hinge and they wrap around, so every time you open it they straighten up, and then you close it they kind of bend again. And I understand that like that can definitely wear out cables. It shouldn't happen within a month. It hasn't happened to my unit, so my phone is still perfectly fine. The mic works with no problems at all, and I haven't had that issue. It's still yet to be seen if it's really a widespread issue. I've only seen that with 2 people, but mine so far, no problems. Same with the crease. Some people are getting discoloration right off the bat. By some people, I mean like 2 people. These are 2 people that I've seen reviews from. But for most devices, and even mine, no issues with the crease either. It's the same size, no discoloration, and the screen looks beautiful still. I do wipe it down with microfiber cloth every like day or every other day, just because I know there's dust that they kind of warned about, like you don't want to put it in dusty places. So I do that just in case. So to close off between these 2 devices, I think they're gonna stay with me for the next year. And the reason I say that is just because the phone hasn't let me down. For people who don't want to flip it open, okay, that's a problem. There's a barrier to flip. I think that's a solution to a problem. And it's a problem that after figuring out I had that, I want to tackle. I don't want to be on my phone a lot. I want to be more productive. So I love that about this phone. And this watch and phone combo allows me to like hyper productive my day. You know, I'm not always on my phone. I get all the notifications that are, you know, just normal that would maybe propel me to start checking out YouTube, Instagram, and waste my time. I just knock them out on my watch. And then when there's something that's really urgent, I go straight to the app. If I click it on my watch, it goes straight to the app on my phone and I'm able to knock it out. And as soon as I do that, clicks. And that there's no way that's not satisfying still. Flipping it open and flipping it closed is still super satisfying. And yeah, I think that if the build quality holds up just the way it is so far, it's gonna stay in my pocket for at least a year. I'm just having a blast with this phone. And if you're on the edge about that, well, I think the main thing is, what do you think about the flip? The actual having to flip it open. If that's something you can keep putting up with every time you need to use the full-fledged phone, then there's really nothing stopping you. You're gonna absolutely love this phone. But if you're someone who thinks that, you know, browsing and just kind of doing other things on your phone is no problem, spending time on your phone isn't really an issue for you, then you might actually not like this phone. It's for a very specific type of user, I feel, and I think it's perfect for me. You know, I don't want to be on my phone all day. I don't want to be scrolling through apps and things like that. I've been able to get consistent daily use out of this phone. Like I mentioned, battery life, although it's small, hasn't been an issue for me. All the apps I need work perfectly fine. This fingerprint sensor is really fast and consistent. This case also has a really big opening for the fingerprint sensor, which really helps because it's super fast. I know with some cases this has been blocked. Spigen specifically, so you know, I really do like that about this case. So yeah, that's my review of this phone. I absolutely love it. I wouldn't give it out to anybody else. I'm definitely going to be keeping this for the whole year, and I'm definitely going to be keeping the watch on my wrist as well. And this is the 44mm Galaxy Watch 4 Active. I haven't really meddled too much in all the apps that it comes with. I've been pretty simple using this with this, and I think the combo works amazingly well. So with that being said, I think that's the end of this 30-day catch-up. I'm still using the phone. I'm still loving it. It's gonna stay in my pocket. There's no way I'm going back to the fat slab anymore. I literally can't. When I'm using like someone else's phone, I do find my hands kind of get that, you know, flip it close instinct when I'm done. And I just gotta be like, oh yeah, they're a beta. I'm an alpha. I can't do that. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Let me know in the comment section below what piece of tech do you want to see next, and I will be reviewing this again in 3 months. So I'm gonna do a 3-month later review. I'll let you guys know if it's still the durability specifically. I want to see how the screen holds up. So if the crease is still as clear as it is today, and whether it's bigger or discolors. And I want to still work on the hinge. You know, I want to know in 3 months, will the hinge still be as solid as it is today? But I'll keep you guys posted. If there's anything else you want to see, any piece of tech out right now, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll probably be able to get it. Take it easy. Peace.